Welcome back, Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode 941, Doubleshpt 835. I have two DC trades. First up, it is Supergirl, Bizarrogirl. This collects Supergirl, Volume 5, issues 53, 59, and number 2. This is kind of... Really, Bailey? This is pretty much kind of the end of Sterling Gates' run for the book, though it's not the last trade that collects his run. Yeah, it just Supergirl's encounter with Bizarro Supergirl. And of course, they reference the storyline Escape from Bizarro World, which was done by the artist. The artist who did the story was known for being the creator of the character the Goon. And it was a story, I think, done by Greg Rucka. And of course, she also has team up with Cat Grant to stop the Toyman's son, Anton Shot. And no, this character is not a loose. The character Winslow Shot Jr. is not loose based on this guy at all. Anton Shot calls himself the Doll Maker. Yeah, first of like 3 people in the comics to call himself this. Yeah, the most recent one was a character created by Tony S. Daniel, who appeared in the first arc of his run for Tita Comics. It's one that was basically 12 issues long. He disappeared for a while until he basically sewed on the Joker's face the Joker's daughter. Yeah, but this guy is a little more tame compared to that guy. Yeah, and apparently Winslow Shot does it. Now, here's the thing. Cat Grant hates the Toyman for a very good reason. You want to know why? Because the Toyman murdered her son, Adam. That's pretty much the reasoning for this. Yes, so that's the reason why she hates him. Because he murdered her son. Yeah, it was also a string of child kidnappings, and he was like, man, this is kind of weird for Sterling Gates to do. In the case of Bizarro Supergirl, that takes a good majority of the storyline. And, of course, the whole thing with the Toyman, that's a loose follow-up to Superman Toyman one-shot, which, of course, that was when Adam Grant was killed off. Yeah. One of, like, 2 known children of a character, one of 2 child deaths DC Comics ever did. As far as I know, I don't think even Marvel has ever done this. I mean, they kill off some teenagers, but as for little children, no, Marvel would never stoop that low at all. And looking at the current continuity for DC Comics, they haven't stooped that low yet. They kind of did when they killed off Damian, but he wasn't gone for very long. But this is still pretty good. Good ending to Sterling Gates' run, but not basically the ending of his particular. It's only the 3rd trade I have. It's like the 4th trade I've reviewed that collects his run for the book. I'm looking forward to, my hands on more trades for this run. Give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Yeah. Also, the artwork in here is done by several people. Jamie Angle was basically a very good artist in this book for quite some time. John Sybil, Bernard Chang, Matt Camp, Margaret Rudy, John Dell, Mark Deering, Richard Fiend, and Robin Riggs. The cover art is done by Anne Marina, the creator of Mungo Devil Dinosaur, Richard Fiend, and Guy Major. Also, Superwoman pops up in here, and she's basically held in custody of Star Labs. Yeah, apparently she survived, apparently being killed off at the end of the Who Was the Superwoman storyline. Yeah, she survives, and now she's being held prisoner at Star Labs to sort of reverse what the military did to her. And I should point out, though, also, this storyline takes place after the events of War of the Supermen, which had Supergirl's mother get killed off, the Krypton gets destroyed, and of course Supergirl kind of going after people who destroyed New Krypton. Despite the fact this is the answer, I guess it's not the end of this particular volume. Oh no, this volume will go on for another 8 issues before it gets restarted. Yep, where it was done by Kelsey Mahonic and Nick Spencer. Yeah, Nick Spencer did a couple issues after this, but Kelsey Mahonic did the last few issues for the relaunch. But this was technically the first DC book Kelsey Mahonic did, because she wouldn't do a DC comic again until actually just recently. So she basically didn't do a single DC comic for 7 years. Actually, 7 years she didn't do a book, and now she's back. There was a writer who co-wrote Nick Spencer's issues, which wrote Supergirl very arrogantly, and not a very good look for Supergirl. Then, of course, we had Kelsey Mahonic take over for a few issues, which is probably the best issues of the last 2 issues that were relaunched. But this is good. Next up is Red Hood and the Outlaws, Volume 2, Who is Artemis? Collecting Red Hood and the Outlaws, Volume 2, 7 through 11. Written by Scott Lobdell. Artwork by Dexter Soy, Tom Durek, Marco Kalok, and Keith Rackford. Keith Rackford is an artist who actually worked for Scott Lobdell on the previous volume of Red Hood and the Outlaws. Now, when I should point out though, when this volume was announced, and the fact Scott Lobdell was still going to be on the writing for this particular series, from what I remember, this is of course been a few years, it was met with negative reaction. Yes, because of what happened with Red Hood Arsenal, and of course with the previous one in the Outlaws, especially with the start of it, where you have Starfire implied to be written like a sex pot. Yeah, that's basically how Lobdell wrote her, and I basically pointed out to Lobdell, yeah, basically the reaction to basically this book coming back and Scott Lobdell being the writer of this was met with negative reaction. Especially since the guy is also accused of sexual harassment. But here's kind of the thing. And I pointed this out though to Scott Lobdell. This is a heck of a lot better than his original run. And he actually agrees with me on that, surprising. I thought he might be disrespected. But no, he actually liked my opinion when it comes to this particular volume. Yeah, now, the whole thing with this particular volume is that you still have Red Hood in the book, but who replaces Starfire and Arsenal? Why, it's Artemis and Bizarro. Yep, Bizarro, which is a slightly different Bizarro. He's a still kind of... What?
What kind of hair?
301.
It's 301.
Yeah, in this storyline, we figure out kind of loosely Artemis' backstory. But before I continue, some of you probably figure out though, asking, who is Artemis? Yes, who is his character Artemis? This is a woman created by William Messer Loebs toward the end of his run for Wonder Woman back in the 1990s. Now, looking at her with her hair, some people probably think she looks like the way Angela looked back in the 1990s. That's kind of like true, but yeah, I'm sure a lot of people when they think of this character, long red hair that goes pretty much past her rear end, there's some people are thinking, oh yeah, it's probably Angela. Nope, this is Artemis. Yeah, and she's from a tribe known as the what was it, the Bahama, I think it's basically a tribe of Amazonians who worship not the Greek deities, not the Greek gods, but the Egyptian gods, who have since banned them. And Artemis is one of two known people from this particular tribe of Amazonians. The other course being the character Grace from Joe Winnick's Outsiders run. But in case you're wondering, has Artemis and Grace ever met in the previous continuity? No, they've never met. At one point, Artemis took over as Wonder Woman. Yep, took over as Wonder Woman. And also, this is why I think you also get a chance to hear about her, basically get sort of reveal the origin of Artemis in this continuity, which is kind of similar to how she was depicted in the previous continuity as well. But we also have the Outlaws going to Kuwait. Yes, Kuwait. The country where the storyline of Death in the Family took place. Yep, that particular thing. As a matter of fact, Jason Todd, who's being held captive by people who work for the government, in the cell, he looks outside his window and it's like, and outside the building, believe it or not, it's actually the building where he died in that original story. Yes, from Batman, I believe it was 428 when he died. Yeah, before he was resurrected by John Winnick during the story Under the Red Hood. Or Under the Hood, which they later changed the name to Under the Red Hood, thanks to the film that came out, which is really good. And he's asking, where is he? Where is that pasty-faced guy? I want to beat the crap out of him. Of course, he's talking about the frickin' Joker. Joker shows up in here as a hallucination. Well, at least as a flashback to it. Yeah, shows up in a flashback. But he basically mentions, though, he has a history. He mentions the soldiers where he met with the general. He says, I have a history of your country. I died here. Yep. But this overall is a fantastic story. And I do recommend this volume, Red Hood and the Outlaws. Not technically the previous volume, though. Arsenal himself does show up later. Does Starfire show up in the series? No. But Scott Lobdell does bring back a couple characters in here. I will get some. Well, the other one, first one shows up in the next storyline, basically the origin of Bizarro, and during Storm Bizarro Reborn. The other cores show up just recently. Yeah, I will get to them at a later date. But this is really good. Give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, so I'm thinking, really? A Red Hood and the Outlaws trade? And you give it 9.5? I thought you'd give me maybe like a 7 or 8. But this is good. Yeah, it's like Scott Lobdell basically got refreshed, basically, just to use new characters and not contract himself. Basically, he's building upon stuff he's already started, which is great. Yeah, so that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my movie review. We'll talk about the 9th Star Trek film. You get my pants on that soon. Okay, but see you there. Bye.